right there is 40 hours worth of printing, and you can tell, you can see the little grid there. It was below the build plate when I put it in Cura. That's one of those things that life does to you, huh? Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and this week we're going to work mostly on the plasma table, at least for the video. And I did a lot of 3D printing this week, so, and there's no video about that. Some of the things will show up in a later video, but not this one. I did order some aluminum ingots, some, I think they called it A635 or something like that. I ordered two 6-pound ingots, and they're about $32 a piece. So I guess aluminum's a good thing to sell, or at least it's expensive. Alright, so let's just get on with working on the plasma table. Like I said, I didn't do a lot of work on it this week, but I did some. Today went over to local used machinery place to look at a Colchester lathe, and it went through Denver Harbor and down Clinton Drive. Denver Harbor, when I was a teenager, was a pretty rough place to be. They had a beer joint over there called the Bucket of Bloods, which sort of let you figure out the character of the place. And there we was, two or three dumb, I guess there was three of us dumb teenagers. We wanted to go someplace really bad so that we could say we went there. So we go over there, and we wasn't legal to even be in there really, but they didn't care and we didn't care. So the waitress brought us out a beer each, and in a real loud voice she says, "Where's my $1 tip?" And we forked it over, each one of us. She could see that we was, innocent lambs to the slaughter, and she definitely took advantage of it. So I think a beer was about 25 or 50 cents. So the tip way outdid the beer. Alright, so you can see that I've got some linear bearings here, and I want to raise and lower the torch. So I need to make a little carriage to ride on those bearings, and then I need to make the adapters for that screw thread there to fit on it, and I need to make some support for the wheels for this thing to run back and forth across here with. I'll show you where I'm going to put it. He's the guy that's going to go on this gantry here and run back and forth. I've got the motor mounted, I've got the little idler wheels for the pulley, but I don't have the stuff on there yet. It's going to be pulled back and forth. Once I get that much of the hardware done, then I'll have to acquire the little box to put all the electronics in, and fix the support down in the middle there that's going to hold the hold the metal that's going to get cut. So I'm getting closer to the end, but I'm not in a hurry. I'm really enjoying taking my own good time on this. It makes it a lot more fun than trying to get something finished for the next Thursday or whatever. So if I don't feel like working on it for a whole week, I don't. If I want to work on it every day, then I do. So let me get some metal located and see what we can lay out for the carriage of that thing. If I turn it this way on this piece of metal, I've only got less than 3 inches of travel, even if I stick those two guys right up against each other. That may be more than enough travel. 3 inches could likely be, all that I would ever need. So, not having planned this out ahead of time, now I got to sit down over here in the corner and think on that. It's just, will that do the job or not? I can always rebuild the bracket again, make it bigger if I have to, but I don't want to do anything over. So, Alright, so I'll let you guys sleep on this while I try to think. It ain't easy. That's about 2 inches taller than the throat capacity of this saw. It's also about 2 inches taller than the throat capacity of the Evolution saw. So I'm going to cut it over here. And I know the first thing you're going to tell me is you can't cut that. Well, we're going to try. You can see that I've got it supported with stuff over here, stuff back here, so it'll be more rigid and not flop around in the breeze. So let's give it a shot, see what we get. The worst that can happen is the thing will explode and kill everybody or something. So far so good, except for the racket. Yeah, I'll have to turn it over to finish the cut. Certainly get close to where it's going to touch from right up here. Then I'll have to turn it over and cut from the other side. But I'll be more than halfway through by then. Alright, I turned it over and made a cut, and there we are. Now I did move over this way a little bit because this thing was coming down at a slight angle. You can never tell if it's going to go straight or go one way or the other. So there's my scribed line right there, and I can put it over there in the little grizzly and square the thing up right to the line. No problem at all. There's my new flask. It sitting square. All the seams are tight against each other. Got guide pins on the end that are made out of metal instead of wood dowels, and it got handles on each end, and it's ready for use now. It wasn't straight like that when I got through with it, or when I got up to the fitting the sides together. They rocked around a little bit, so I put them on the mill table and used that fly cutter to machine the little bugger nice and straight. Well, now that spot right there, that's a scratch in the table. I guess maybe I did that with a key. I put a locating key in the bottom of the vise. I must have dragged it along the table or something. It's always some disappointment. This morning I was still asleep. In fact, the boss lady was too. And I was sort of in that state where now and then your eyes will come up when you see the clock and you don't want to get up yet, and you close them and go back drifting off. And I thought I heard a knock on the door. But I thought, nah, probably imagine it. But the boss lady got up and went and looked. I said, "Do you think you heard a knock on the door?" And she said, "Yeah, I thought so, but there's nobody there." So I thought, well, okay, I'm talking, I got to get up. So I got up and I thought, well, I'm going to go look outside, and sure enough, the U.S. mail had come by about 8 in the morning. And there was this. It says Stoner Tools and Raw Materials. So now I was expecting a package, but not with that name on it. So let's see what's in it. I don't know. It's heavy, I can tell you that. Well, I got that loose. Let's see what's on the inside. It says 35 pounds aluminum scrap drops for melting, casting, smelting, or machining. Okay, so wow, 70 bucks. All right, let's see what's in here. There's another box in here. Of course, why wouldn't there be another box in here? All right, so I gotta get the box out of the box. Ah. All right, so let's open up this box. At least it's well packed. They did try to poke a hole in that other box there. I guess a knife would be better than a fingernail file. That's just plastic, but it's tough. I'm gonna let you guys take a little nap while I work on this, and then I'll bring you back. Look at there. It's chock full of aluminum cutoff, just like it said. Handy sizes and shapes. Good stuff. Look at that. A lot of times you need something that size and I don't wind up having it. Huh? Yep. I think I hit the jackpot here. I'm almost certain that the cause of this is Mr. Vernon Courier, but I'll have to send him an email and find out. He said he was sending me some stuff, and I've got some stuff, so I would be willing to bet that he had something to do with it. All good, useful stuff. This will keep me in aluminum for a while. Some of my castings come out really good. This is stuff that I cast back in the 70s. The reason it's shiny is last year I machined it down sort of as a almost finished blank for making a pulley out of. This one I machined back in the 70s, and it's still got a bearing in it. I'd put it on a shaft, but it hasn't been used. There's no set screw in it yet. But when I cast this big guy, it set my board that my flask was on top of. It set that board on fire because there was only about, that much sand under it. Maybe less sand, maybe like that. But it came out anyway. Alright, so I dug into the box and the bigger stuff was in the bottom. And I thought, how am I going to arrange this somewhere where I can see it? So I set the stuff on the edge so I could tell the really thick stuff from the thin stuff. Now right up here in the front part of the drawer is metal I already had. And the back part is stuff that I just got with the overflow going into this top drawer here along with the Delrin and the pulleys and stuff. So, well, I took some of my newly acquired metal, piece of 3/4 inch, put it in a collet block and made it into a hex. The reason I made it into a hex is so that I can put a wrench on here and move this thing around. This is an eccentric piece that I'm making for the wheels on that. I should have made eccentric pieces with wheels on every piece of that machine, but I didn't. But I'm making it for this time around, and what I can do with this eccentric piece is put it onto the metal, and I can turn it and adjust the wheel up and down, which I'm sure you already figured that out. But that's the game. So I've got this thing offset, and I'm going to cut a little round piece on it to go in a hole that I'm going to make in the mounting plate, so it'll have something to swivel on that's you know, positive. So I guess I'm on with it. I'm going to tap it for number 1024, which is a number 25 tap. And I've got to get some lubrication. I'll be back. Forgot to wake you guys up. I drilled it all the way back to here. So that ought to fit a number 10 screw, and I can cut off more than one of these guys, which is why I drilled it so far back, so I can hopefully thread it way back. We'll see what happens. I'm kind of afraid to power tap these little small bits, so I'll stick it in there and turn it in with a wrench, you know, a little tap wrench. So I put some aluminum tapping fluid on it, so it should tap pretty good. I don't know if I can stay out of your line of view. Alright, I turned this little spigot, whatever, down to 310 thousandths, 0.310. This is 0.3125, give or take some. And it fits just fine. It'll do the job that I want to do. So I'm guessing that I've got it, you know, sufficiently sized there to do the job. I'm going to go ahead and part it off and maybe make another one just like it. Alright, so here's the wheel with the offset. You put it in the hole, tighten it down, and then you can move the wheel around, make it tighter or looser. Now, I hope that I haven't gone too big with this hex, because if I did, I'll have to do the thing over again. They cut it down to a smaller size anyway, because that's pretty big on the hex. We'll just have to find out when it's time to put threads for the linear bearings. And actually, the way I'm doing this is I'm power tapping these little guys by cranking up the motor, bring the tap down close, crank up the motor, turn off the motor, and then just shove it down in there, and there'll be enough momentum to go ahead and thread it. I'd be afraid to do this on steel, but this is aluminum and it's a lot softer and easier to work with, which is one of the reasons I use aluminum a lot, or aluminum, depending on who you are. Okay, slide it down a little. Straight on it. And there you are. It's sunk in there just really nice, and that's a full thread, not a 50%er. Alright, so I got the little carrier there mostly assembled. I got the linear bearings lined up, and they're on here right. So that part will work okay. I'll have 3 inches of travel. Haven't cut the rods off at the bottom yet. I'll get to that later. And I've got this guy set up. He rolls back and forth really nice. Making that little cam for the wheel made adjusting the tension a snap, so that's perfect. Now the next step, of course, is I've got to put the screw in there and attach something to help it run things up. This this little rod here is temporary. That was just for alignment, so that'll go away. That's some of the metal I got yesterday, along with the fact that I made a little camphor wheel out of some of that metal, so I'm already putting it to use, huh? All right. Well, Ole and Sven decided since the weather was so good in Minnesota, it'd be a good time to take a road trip down and visit with Bubba. So they hit the road and they got on the interstate. That's where they planned to go to save time and get there quicker. And they'd only gone about 40 miles and they saw a sign that said clean restrooms. So they cleaned 32 on the way down and 29 on the way home. Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.